everyone, Jess here from the Scrappy Sisters, and thank you for joining me for a mixed media frenzy. Now, this is the sketch we were using today, and I was a little bit scared of it at first. I think it was the orange and then all of the blank space, and I wasn't really sure how to tackle it. So my first step was to change the color in my brain. I'm not using orange. I'm going to use pink. I don't often work with pink, and I felt like being girly, and the orange was scaring me, so I am rolling with pink. And I'm also not drawing my squares on, so this sketch can be interpreted in a lot of different ways, I feel. The big black sort of squares that are on the left and right hand sides, I feel like you could have taken those as literally being drawn on with a ruler, or you could have taken those as being pattern paper. And I'm going to take those as being pattern paper. So I am using the Pick Me Up collection by Paige Taylor Evans, and I have cut out 2 rectangles using that beautiful gradient pink paper, and I am going to put those on either side of my page, and they're going to be the sort of base, those big rectangles that are the base of the mixed media. Now, in the sketch, and this is what I stick with as well, those 2 rectangles aren't lined up perfectly. One is up higher than the other, so the left-hand side is high and the right-hand side is down low, and that is what I have done as well. So I actually cut a little bit off the top of the left-hand side and a little bit off the bottom of the right-hand side of those rectangles, just to sort of match up the gradient pink a little bit better by having them unequally placed. Then I went to my acrylic paint stash and just got a whole bunch of pink colors. So I've got this sort of dark maroon first, which I'm going to splodge on the top. And then I realized those 2 are basically the exact same. So then I've got this bright sort of fuchsia color that I'm popping in next. And then a little bit of a corally color. I really didn't think too much about this because when I looked at the sketch, the orange to me sort of really popped out as being quite messy. So that's kind of what I decided I had my license to do. I was allowed to be a little bit messy. So I started off using a brush, but realized that wasn't the look I wanted. It was really bristly texture, and I actually wanted the splush effect. That's the technical term for it. So I go ahead and get some packaging out of my rubbish bin, and I started off by just trying to smush one color at a time. So just smushing this sort of maroon color, and then I cut off that piece of packaging so it wouldn't contaminate the next color, and I was going to start smushing the next color and realized that is so hard. I can't do that. Just get in there. And so I just smushed them all and made like a big smushy crazy mess. And I feel like that is sort of along the line of what the sketch was trying to tell me. Just make a big smushy crazy mess. So then I still had one more pink left, and it's in this kind of spray bottle. I got it in a super cheap kit which had Christmas stencils and stuff in it as well. So I'm going to use it for my splatters. It's still acrylic paint, but it's quite watered down, and I felt like I needed to get some more splat and some more flick happening around the page. So I am super happy with how that is looking. And now it's time to add some of the blackness that you can see in the sketch. I think they used like a circle stamp or something. I didn't have one. And on my page, this worked really well. I twisted on my practice page. This worked really well. I covered an acrylic block with black ink and then twisted it round. And what I didn't take into account when I did it on my practice page was I didn't have lumps and bumps all over my practice page. My practice page was completely smooth. So on my practice page, it formed like a really kind of cool circle. Not a full circle, it still obviously had bits missing, but you could definitely get the circle effect. On my real life page, like right here, because of all the lumps and bumps from the pattern paper and from all the paint, I didn't really get a circle effect. I kind of just got a little bit of a mess. But I like it. It works really well for this layout because I needed some of that black. And obviously my photos are going to be sitting on top anyway. So it was really just something to sort of show behind my photographs. I've then come in with a Cocoa Vanilla Studios, I think it's More Than Words stamp set, and I'm just using a whole bunch of the love hearts. There is like a solid love heart, a love heart outline, a bunch of like 5 or 6 little mini love hearts, and I'm just stamping those all the way around the edge of the page. I also then went ahead and got my sewing machine, and I sewed like a border all the way around the pink paper. And I also stitched back and forth quite a bit on zigzag in a few different places, which you can sort of see overhead now, but you'll definitely be able to see in the close-ups. Now I'm grabbing a whole bunch of thread and I'm going to put that all along here in a big messy pile to sit where my photo is going to sit on top. And again, down in the bottom one as well. Now I've got 2 separate photos. One is a 3x4 size and the other is about 3x3 square. And again, just a whole bunch of thread, and that's going to sit right on top of that double-sided tape that I've put down, and then the photo will go on top of all of that. Just to really get that messy feel happening. Too low, too skinny, so I've got to pull it up a bit taller. There we go. I've really got to get that messy feel happening behind the photo just to go along with what's happening in that sketch. There we go. So this layout's actually almost done because in the sketch there's not really any embellishments at all. Well, not really any. There are no embellishments in this sketch. Now, that is not my style of scrapbooking, so I will go ahead and put a few embellishments on, but I don't end up doing that many. So in terms of what needs to happen on this layout next, I'm actually almost finished. So I've popped on some Heidi Shine Gold Heidi Swap Color Shine, and now I'm also popping on some black Heidi Swap Color Shine as well. And then it is time for my photos and title and things like that. Oh, and a little bit of white. Sorry, forgot my white. I'm obsessed with the white now. I should know if I've used some splatters that there's going to be white splatters too. So once that is on, this white is the Liquitex acrylic ink, which I splatter on with a paintbrush. So once that is all on, it is time to do my photos. So I just matted my photos in a white mat, and I popped them up on foam. Then my embellishing, I found actually the embellishing really, really tricky. So I knew I wanted something down in this bottom right-hand corner that seemed to fit really, really well for me. So that was no problem. But the next cluster I found really quite tricky. And I do make a few changes to my cluster actually later on, which you'll see in the close-up photos, and I'll point out to you in the close-up photos. But I did them off camera after I thought I'd finished. I kept walking past my layout again and again and again, and I actually changed my mind when I'd had a little bit of time to think about it. Does anybody else do that? I do that. I do that quite a lot. So I decided I didn't like the placement of the title being sideways down in the big rectangle, so I just popped mine down underneath the torch. And the reason why I wanted it down there with the word Pink Lady is because that's what is on the torch, and that was really significant for what is happening in this photo. This is a picture of me and my aunt. We are at a football game actually, and it is the Pink Ladies match, and hundreds and thousands of us come, and we wear these big pink ponchos, and we carry a special pink torch. They turn all the lights off in the stadium, and it goes completely pitch black, and they show stories and commemorate all the wonderful, wonderful ladies who have fought cancer, specifically breast cancer, but cancer in general. And it's just an amazing night. Like, it is so moving. You cannot help but stand in the middle of the football field, like this gigantic football field, watching these ladies and on the big screen and seeing all of the pink torches shining high in the sky. It absolutely brings a tear to your eye. So it's just incredible. So that was a really lovely event to participate in. So I've gone ahead and popped on my 2 clusters. I love the bottom right cluster, but the top left cluster is really causing me pain, mental pain at the moment. I don't love how that is sitting, but I don't know how to fix it at this stage of my life. So I'm just kind of letting it go. I'm just kind of letting it go. But I do, as I said, I do actually change it up a little bit. If you stick around this far, you might as well wait a few more minutes and check the close-up photos at the end, because I do make a little bit of a change to those. What I actually go ahead and do off camera is give them a little bit of a home base to sit on. They didn't have anything stabilizing the clusters. So I actually cut out 2 white circles and put both of my clusters on top of those white circles, just to give them something to sort of anchor them to my page. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure you check that description box, and I'll see you next time. Thanks everyone. Bye.